Monster waves and rough seas can be found just about anywhere you look on this planet. Powerful storms can create waves over 50 feet in height, able to toss even the largest of ships around like toys. Considering how remote many of these areas are, it's safe to say that without video evidence, most of us would not know moments like these exist. From an oil tanker being destroyed by a heavy swell to an insane video of the Baltic Sea is a body of water located in northern Europe. Being a fairly sheltered body of water with only one outlet between Denmark and Sweden, it's not always known for rough weather. During summer months, the ocean can be rather calm, gradually getting more severe as temperatures cool. This was the case in January of 2021. In this video, we see a large tanker traversing the Baltic Sea. It's evident that the ocean is a bit rough, but nothing compared to some of the other videos on our list. Wave after wave rolls over the ship, soaking the deck as the crew watches on. Then, suddenly, with little warning, one wave a bit larger than the rest smashed into the ship, destroying several parts of the bridge.
Действительно повезло, как только это все закончилось хуёво. Ой-ой-ой. Бля, нихуя себе.
After seeing the footage, it makes me wonder if this could have been avoided had the ship been positioned differently against the waves. With the ship damaged, it was time to head back to land to assess. Thankfully, everybody on board made it home safely. When talking about monster waves, how could we leave out tsunamis? Tsunamis start far out at sea after water has been displaced by a large earthquake. Very few people have ever witnessed what these tsunamis look like when they're that far out at sea. However, a camera on a Japanese Coast Guard ship in March of 2011 caught the action. As the ship is sailing, it is clear to see that the horizon looks slightly off. The sea has risen quite high in the distance. If you look closely at the left, it almost appears that there is a small mountain of water. Upon seeing this, the captain knew that he had absolutely no recourse other than to sail right for it and ride over the wave. Obviously, this wave was nothing the ship couldn't handle. To the captain, it was just another swell to sail over. But that isn't the point. This wave would ultimately be responsible for billions of dollars in damages on the mainland, not to mention the loss of thousands of lives. It is one of the only times where we get to see the origins of one of the most cataclysmic events in modern history. The North Sea isn't the only place where severe weather and monster waves exist. Back in April of 2021, sailors on board a chemical tanker watched helplessly as massive waves pounded their ship out in the Atlantic Ocean. The video was filmed by Andre M. and gives a great insight into just the type of conditions these sailors experience. Wave after wave pounded the vessel, sending water and mist onto the deck. In the background, you can hear the wind whipping and ship creaking as it gets tossed around. Watching this, I can't help but imagine what it would have been like traversing this many years ago. Back when ships were much smaller and made of wood, it would have been one hell of a terrifying experience. 12 possible rankings on the scale, with 12 being the most severe. At this level, conditions are expected to be devastating. Waves will reach over 46 feet or 14 meters in height, and winds are expected to be of hurricane force. The next video was shot in early 2021. The ship in question is a bulk carrier meant to transport unpackaged cargo such as grains or coal. During its journey through the North China Sea, the ship found itself right in the middle of a powerful Force 12 typhoon. Despite bulk carriers being some of the largest ships on Earth, it was no match for this typhoon. Wave after wave slammed into the ship, causing heavy rolling and pitching. The North China Sea saw many typhoons over the 2021 season. Based on when this video was posted, it's possible that this ship was caught in Typhoon Surigay, which was the strongest of the year so far. Thankfully, the ship sustained no damage and there were no injuries of any kind. In December of 2015, the ship HMNZS Otago was sailing through the Southern Ocean near Antarctica in search of people who were illegally fishing for toothfish. This is a common mission this ship makes with the intent of catching poachers. The people on board got a bit more than they were expecting, though, when they found themselves in the middle of a storm.
The one behind it didn't. Holy shit.
That's God. Oh shit. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared then. The gun just got fucked up.
Exhaust temperature, outlets.
Oh, fuck me.
Pipe.
The Southern Ocean is known for its extreme weather and is considered the windiest ocean on Earth. According to the man who filmed the video, the waves were approximately 20 meters or 65 feet in height, with wind reaching 80 kilometers or 50 miles per hour. Despite how violent the waves were, everybody on board enjoyed the show, and there was no damage to the ship. Smooth waters and sunny skies. It's also not that big of a deal for captains to have to go through bad weather. However, there is one thing that will definitely challenge the courage of even the most seasoned ship's captain, and that's the knowledge that you may have to sail through hurricane conditions. In this video, shot by Big Wave Master 1 in the North Sea, we get a glimpse into what it's like to sail through hurricane conditions. The ship, an emergency response and rescue vehicle, is built for weathering these waves, and will sail in this weather to rescue any helpless vessels caught in the storm. Swell after swell pound the ship's hull. I don't know about any of you, but I don't think I'd want to get caught in this. As mentioned, the ship's built to withstand these conditions, and the captain and crew are trained to stay composed in the midst of being tossed around by the unrelenting seas. No doubt, though, the conditions must make things on board pretty uncomfortable, but it's what comes with the job. As for the rest of us, we will have to rely on footage like this to tell the tale. The North Sea is one of the most volatile bodies of water anywhere on Earth. Here, the warm waters from the Gulf Stream collide with near-Arctic conditions from the northern Atlantic and Scandinavian countries. These can produce some incredibly fierce weather conditions, which also lead to very turbulent seas. But it is also an area that is rich with oil and other natural resources. So there are various oil rigs dotted throughout the sea, constantly drilling and braving these conditions. What people tend to forget is that these oil rigs, which are as large and sometimes larger than ships, actually float, although they are tethered to the ocean floor. So although they are like floating towns, they're also at the mercy of the pounding waves. On January 10, 2015, the oil rig Borgholm Dolphin found itself in the middle of a huge storm. The video shows the large platform listing from side to side as the ocean rises and falls. Even though the platform itself sits around 60 feet above the water, the spray from the pounding waves actually reaches up onto the deck. Concealed beneath the water, the oil rig has a few turbines that help keep it in the same position, preventing the wind and tides from moving it out of place. Large ballast tanks help store or purge water to keep it perfectly balanced. As you can see, though, they can only do so much when faced with massive waves. Will swing. Despite being a relatively inactive year for tropical storm, in the Atlantic Ocean, about 80 miles off the coast of Portugal, the tanker LPG Venir was caught in the remnants of these hurricanes. Watch as the tanker battles wave after wave. The Bay of Biscay is a gulf in the northeast Atlantic Ocean along the borders of France and Spain. It is a body of water that is famously known for its extreme weather and abnormally large waves. Many large ships have become victims to these waves over the years, and as you're about to see, it's no surprise how. Shot in 2009 on board a Navy ship, this video gives us a great look into some rough conditions in the Bay of Biscay.
No, that's recording. See, it's recording.
The ship in question is a merchant Navy ship, which weighs over 12,000 tons. During this video, it was actually sailing through a Storm Force 10. This ranking is only 2 away from the highest possible level, and is regarded by the NOAA as having very high waves with heavy rolling swells. Despite the commanding size of the ship, you'll notice that it gets swept around with ease by the waves. Once docked, the crew did notice some serious damage to the ship, but thankfully, nobody was injured. In February of 2021, the United States Navy was running practice drills far out in the Southern Ocean. This ocean is located in some of the most remote and hostile areas of our planet. Commonly referred to as the Antarctic Ocean, this body of water is the coldest and windiest on Earth and is known far and wide for its tough weather conditions. On the day of the practice exercise, they had another issue to deal with, a Force 12 storm. This storm produced strong winds and monstrous waves. The exercise was being completed by a small patrol boat that, at many times, seemed as if it were no match for the seas.
It's dangerous, bro. Delete the pornos, bro.
The creator of this video would later go on to say that it was perhaps the wrong decision to go out in such rough seas. There was a lot of danger in completing this training mission in such conditions, as it would have been a very difficult operation to rescue the crew of the patrol boat should something have happened. Thankfully, for everyone involved, nothing did happen, and the crew returned safely to land. Imagine yourself in that situation. Would you have gone on that boat? Rough seas and monster waves can be found. There are tens of thousands of ships sailing the oceans at any given moment, both large and small. The vast majority of the time, conditions are fine. Calm winds, smooth waters, and sunny skies. It's also not that big of a deal for captains to have to go through bad weather. However, there is one thing that will definitely challenge the courage of even the most seasoned ship's captain. And that's the knowledge that you may have to sail through hurricane conditions. In this video, shot by Big Wave Master 1 in the North Sea, we get a glimpse into what it's like to sail through hurricane conditions. The ship, an emergency response and rescue vehicle, is built for weathering these waves, and will sail in this weather to rescue any helpless vessels caught in the storm. Swell after swell pound the ship's hull. I don't know about any of you, but I don't think I'd want to get caught in this. As mentioned, the ship's built to withstand these conditions, and the captain and crew are trained to stay composed in the midst of being tossed around by the unrelenting seas. No doubt, though, the conditions must make things on board pretty uncomfortable, but it's what comes with the job. As for the rest of us, we will have to rely on footage like this to tell the tale. We'd like to say that our next video would take us to a different part of the world, but we're staying in the North Sea yet again. Are you seeing a pattern here? When we said that the North Sea has some of the most volatile weather in the world, we weren't exaggerating. Not only was this video also taken in the North Sea, it was once again taken from the deck of an emergency response and rescue vehicle as they patrol the waters for any vessels that are in distress. This video was shot during a 3-day patrol searching for distressed ships in the area. To make things more difficult, the ship was doing its dangerous patrol in the middle of January, which is one of the coldest months of the year. Although not common in these areas, it is still possible for sea spray to freeze onto the edge of ships, making them top-heavy and prone to tipping over. Luckily, in this situation, the temperature was just warm enough to keep that from happening. Choppy seas are not anything new to ship captains. Things are made a lot easier when you have a bigger ship. Some of the largest ships sailing the world's oceans today are cargo ships, but even with their massive sizes, they aren't exactly immune to problems from rough waters and large waves. Captains still have to know how to properly deal with them and sail through them. Should the ship be in the wrong position, it could really damage the cargo and even pose a risk to the ship itself. Just off the coasts of France and Spain lies the Bay of Biscay. On this particular day, a fully loaded cargo ship was on a voyage to transport its payload when it came upon some bad weather. When this video starts, things are already in a pretty bad state. The ship has found itself being thrown about by waves and rough seas. However, the main source of the danger wasn't in the weather or the rough seas. It was in how the ship was loaded. Weight distribution is very important when it comes to ship safety. When done properly, it can actually help protect a ship from listing or rocking during bad weather. However, when done improperly, it can actually pose a real threat to the ship, even to the point of sinking. It is a rare occurrence, but there have been plenty of close calls. Large waves at sea are much more of a danger than we typically consider. While they may not pose much of a danger to us on the land, they definitely help us to appreciate the real power that our planet can display. To see more videos like this one, be sure to click the link on screen now. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. With that, thanks for watching and tune in next time.